Hi, hi, kids, grandkids, um, loved ones near and far. Thank you for sharing the Book of Mormon with me. As Grandpa's reading the Book of Mormon, I listened to a fireside, and we got the roaring fire going on behind us. We was at a fireside with the church today, and they talked about how in the April 2017 conference, President Monson um, said that we should all be reading the Book of Mormon and studying it and pondering it daily. And and I believe that. And also then in the October conference, at the time, President of the Quorum President Nelson said that he had been um, following the advice of President Monson. And then another talk, also another one of the apostles said that he had been following the commandment of President Monson. And so at the talk at the fireside, the stake president was just very impressed that, um, or she was the president of Young Women's or something. But anyway, she said that she's very impressed that it was important to them. They needed to follow that advice, you know? So it's not to be taken lightly that the Lord's asked us to. And of course, way before then, President Ezra Taft Benson asked us to. So I appreciate you being here with me and sharing as we read the Book of Mormon. We're in Mosiah chapter 19. Well, the Book of Mormon, another testament of Jesus Christ. We're in Mosiah chapter 19. Gideon seeks to slay Noah. The Lamanites invade the land. King Noah suffers death by fire. Limhi rules as a tributary monarch. This is about 145 to 121 BC. And it came to pass that the army of the king returned, having searched in vain for the people of the Lord. So they were searching for the people of Alma. Verse 2. And now behold, the forces of the king were small, having been reduced, and there began to be a division among the remainder of the people. And the lesser part began to breathe out threatenings against the king, and there began to be a great contention among them. And now there was a man among them whose name was Gideon, and he being a strong man and an enemy to the king, therefore he drew his sword and swore in his wrath that he would slay the king. And it came to pass that he fought with the king. And when the king saw that he was about to overpower him, he fled and ran and got upon the tower which was near the temple. And Gideon pursued him and was about to get upon the tower to slay the king. And the king cast his eyes round about towards the land of Shimlon. And behold, the army of the Lamanites were within the borders of the land. And now the king cried out in anguish of his soul, saying, Gideon, spare me, for the Lamanites are upon us, and they will destroy us. Yea, they will destroy my people. Now the king was not so much concerned about his people as he was about his own life. Nevertheless, Gideon did spare his life. And the king commanded the people that they should flee before the Lamanites. And he himself did go before them, and they did flee into the wilderness with their women and their children. And it came to pass that the Lamanites did pursue them, and did overtake them, and began to slay them. And now it came to pass that the king commanded them that all the men should leave their wives and their children, and flee before the Lamanites. Now there were many that would not leave them, but had rather stay and perish with them. And the rest left their wives and their children and fled. And it came to pass that those who tarried with their wives and their children caused that their fair daughters should stand forth and plead with the Lamanites that they would not slay them. And it came to pass the Lamanites had compassion on them, for they were charmed with the beauty of their women. Therefore the Lamanites did spare their lives, and took them captives, and carried them back to the land of Nephi, and granted unto them that they might possess the land, under the conditions that they would deliver up King Noah into the hands of the Lamanites, and deliver up their property, even one half of all they possessed, one half of their gold and their silver and all their precious things, and thus they should pay tribute to the king of the Lamanites from year to year. And now there was one of the sons of the king among those that were taken captive, whose name was Limhi. Now Limhi was desirous that his father should not be destroyed. Nevertheless, Limhi was not ignorant of the iniquities of his father, he himself being a just man. And it came to pass that Gideon sent men into the wilderness secretly to search for the king and those that were with him. And it came to pass they met the people in the wilderness, all save the king and his priests. Now they had sworn in their hearts that they would return to the land of Nephi, and if their wives and their children were slain, and also those that had tarried with them, that they would seek revenge and also perish with them. And the king commanded them that they should not return. And they were angry with the king and caused that he should suffer, even unto death by fire. So what happened was King Noah said, everybody run for your lives. Just leave your wives and your daughters behind. Just come with me and let's run from the Lamanites. You guys protect me. And they wanted to go back. They stopped and they said, after they went in the wilderness, they said, we're going back. We're going back to the land of Nephi, back to the city. And if our wives have been slain and the other guys that stayed with them, we're just going to go charge in the Lamanites until we die ourselves. We're just going to go ahead and perish with them. But as you know, they hadn't perished because of what they did. But they didn't know that. So King Noah said that they shouldn't go back. King Noah saying, don't go back to your wives and your children. And they got angry with the king. So they burned him. They gave the death by fire, and they were about to take the priests also and put them to death. And they fled. They fled before them. So they were going to grab the priests, put them in the fire also, but they snuck away and got away. And it came to pass that they were about to return to the land of Nephi, and they met the men of Gideon. And the men of Gideon told them of all that had happened to their wives and their children, and that the Lamanites had granted unto them that they might possess the land by paying a tribute to the Lamanites of 1/2 of all they possessed every year, sort of like the ants in A Bug's Life. And the people told the men of Gideon that they had slain the king, and his priests had fled from them further into the wilderness. And it came to pass that after they had ended the ceremony, meaning the ceremony where they met up, Gideon met these guys that had gone with the king Noah and had slain him, that they returned to the land of Nephi, rejoicing because their wives and their children were not slain. And they told Gideon what they had done to the king. And it came to pass that the king of the Lamanites made an oath unto them, that his people should not slay them. And also Limhi, being the son of the king, having the kingdom conferred upon him by the people, made oath unto the king of the Lamanites, that his people should pay tribute unto them, even 1/2 of all they possessed. And it came to pass that Limhi began to establish the kingdom and to establish peace among his people. And the king of the Lamanites set guards round about the land, that he might keep the people of Limhi in the land, that they might not depart into the wilderness. And he did support his guards out of the tribute which he did receive from the Nephites. Now King Limhi did have continual peace in his kingdom for the space of 2 years, that the Lamanites did not molest them, nor seek to destroy them. That's the end of Mosiah chapter 19.